Good evening and welcome to 630 Point of View. I'm Chris Berg. Thanks so much for joining us. Well, I was planning on having Attorney General Wayne Stenehjem on the show tonight for you. Talk about his gubernatorial campaign, especially after last night when we had gubernatorial candidate Doug Burgum on the show. Would have been perfect, obviously, to follow up with Mr. Stenehjem. But unfortunately for all of us here in North Dakota, Mr. Stenehjem was not able to fit us into his schedule Tuesday, all day when he was here in Fargo, or tonight from our studio in Bismarck. Now, I want to start tonight by saying this. Look, I really like Wayne Stenehjem. I remember when I first got back to North Dakota about 5 years ago or so, Wayne was telling me a story about, it's basically his birth story, and he literally had me in tears because I was laughing so hard, my stomach hurt. I invite you, next time you happen to bump into Wayne, ask him about his birth story, and you too will be bent over and your stomach will hurt because I guarantee you will be crying laughing from that. Now, with all that being said, I also want to share with you that I am extremely frustrated, and I'm going to share with you and show you why tonight. And with what I'm about to share with you tonight, look, I also want to make sure that how I'm going to do this, and I want to be fair to Mr. Stenehjem. He's served our state for a long time, done extremely well doing that. But my frustrations over the past few days are because we've done everything that we can here to accommodate Mr. Stenehjem's schedule, to get him on the show here for you, so you can hear from the man that wants to be our next governor. On Tuesday, Mr. Stenehjem was right here in Fargo for the district conventions. We said we would gladly pre-record something with him because obviously we know he's got a very busy schedule. I was eventually told Tuesday would not work, so then we worked something out for Thursday tonight. Then last night I was told, hey, Thursday apparently is not going to work either. Again, we said we would pre-record it. We'd have him go to our studios in Bismarck, right at the KFYR TV studios. We want to keep this thing as simple and as fast and easy for Mr. Stenehjem as possible because, again, we know he's busy. Now, to give you just some reference of how easy we were trying to make this for Mr. Stenehjem, I want to share with you this. This is a Google map that shows you how far it is from the state capitol in Bismarck to our KFYR TV studios in Bismarck. As you can see here, it's roughly 1.4 to 1.6 miles. It's going to take you about 6 or 7 minutes, according to this map, depending on what route you take. So again, to be fair, with all in all, with travel, time to the studio, back to the Capitol, let's say it's going to take maybe 30 minutes to go from his desk to the studio and back to his desk, obviously after the interview. Again, I know Mr. Stenehjem is very busy. I completely respect that. And when Mr. Stenehjem announced his candidacy at the end of November that he's going to be running to be the next governor of the great state of North Dakota, let me share this with you. Here is what he told Valley News Live reporter Ashley Bishop about him being available to the media. Now, I want you to keep something in mind here with what I'm about to share with you. What you're going to see, he says this 3 different times to Ashley in a matter of, I don't know, maybe 5 minutes. I mean, it wasn't that long of an interview. So check this out. Roll the tape.
Try to be accessible to the media. I'm rather known for that being the case. Though we're very busy, I am always happy to talk to the media, and
Are you aware?
I am always accessible, and if you have any issue about it, you're about the only person I've ever heard that from. All right. Yeah. Well.
Thank you.
So let's go over this very specifically. These are his words, not mine. He just said, and I quote, "You know, I always try to be accessible to the media. In fact, I'm rather known for that being the case." It was kind of a shock to me and many people in our newsroom and even other media outlets here in town because I know a lot of them often complain about just how hard it is to get Mr. Stenehjem on their show and or their newscast. Then he goes on to say, and again I quote, "Though we're very busy, I am always," key word there, "I am always happy to talk to the media," except for, I guess, apparently this past Tuesday and tonight, obviously of this week. And I want to go on to also what he said. This is the 3rd time he says this to Ashley. And again, I'm going to quote here, and I think this is very important language to notice. "We are always, I am always," these are his words, not mine, "I am always accessible. And if you have any issue about it, you're about the only person I've ever heard that from." Okay, again, his words, not mine. Well, tonight, I guess I'm going to be the second person you're going to hear this from, Mr. Stenehjem, because this is an election, not a coronation. When you say you are always happy to talk to the media, When you say I am always accessible and you claim that you are rather known for that, then I guess I'm going to take you for your word and expect you to be available to do a quick interview. That's what you told us, not me. That's you. The people of North Dakota, that's what you're telling them. The same people that you are asking to trust you to be our next executive of this great state. If you're going to ask us to go vote for you, in my opinion here, then I think it is more than fair that we ask you to keep your word with us. If you say you're known for something, then I'm going to ask you, we are going to ask you to please back that up. Also, I think it is critically important that you lead right now in our state. You got to look. North Dakota could be facing some very serious, very uncertain times coming up here in the next few years. We see oil prices plummeting, egg economy struggling. In my opinion, we need to know what you're going to do to lead us through these potentially very rough and very uncertain times. Look, you and I out there, you and I both know these politicians. They've got pollsters and consultants that are telling them, hey, don't go do those interviews or don't go talk to certain groups. They're going to tell them, you're up in the polls, man. Play it safe. Don't expose yourself to any tough questions. To me, that is an absolute, again, I want to be fair here. I'm going to just say joke nicely. Let me set some context here. Mr. Stenehjem has been in public service in North Dakota since 1976. That means he's been serving our great state, and very well, I might add, for 40 years. Let me put that in context for you. I've been hosting this show, 630 Point of View, for 33 months. He has more years of public service in our state than I have of months hosting this show. When you look at those two things, you really got to ask yourself, what question could I possibly ask our Attorney General that's going to throw off his game? If that honestly is the case, or that's what these people or pollsters or consultants are afraid of, then we need to have an entirely different conversation about this campaign, and that's for another show. Here's the thing. The most important thing, in my opinion, is to remember that if you're going to ask us for our vote, if you're asking us, the people of North Dakota, to make you the next governor, the next executive of our state, then please remember just one thing for us, okay? Please remember that you don't work for the pollsters and the consultants. You're asking to work for us, the great people of the great state of North Dakota. With that being said, we've already made this request to Mr. Stenehjem. We're asking him, Mr. Burgum, and Mr. Becker to do a debate in February, preferably February 24th. Mr. Stenehjem, I'm hoping that you're going to accept that invitation, because we all know here in the great state that if you want to be our executive, it's important that you show up and have these kind of conversations and debates. That's tonight's point of view. Now, I got a text from someone as well, because I was tweeting out stuff and putting it on Facebook. Posted a video about sort of some of my frustrations, if you will. Here's what someone texted us back. Says, hey, I saw your Twitter complaint. The reason they're hard to get a hold of is they can't have 100% control of the message. You won't allow them to control the narrative. Well, you're asking to be an executive. That's kind of how it goes, in my opinion. But I want to know your point of view, especially about this. So am I making too much of this? Am I being fair? We'd love to know, hey, do you feel like Mr. Stenehjem here should obviously be more accessible to you and the media? Please share your point of view. All right, coming up tomorrow, it's going to be a sad day here at 9 News Live. You're going to find out why right after this. Join our conversation. Head to the website, email us, text us. Stephanie Getz is next.